Good evening. We have another program on our marathon that we devote to benefit of the whole world. We're reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, and now we're making a conclusion of today's day, and for sure we have some realizations or questions. So we will start to deep in it. Anastasia is writing. Good day. I have some kind of spiritual collapse. That's normal. I wish to believe that this collapse would be spiritual. Before marathon, I had some fights with my mother, and during marathon, I have this feeling that body is resisting towards this spiritual energy. Even I thought that I'm not prepared for this, and I'm very thankful for participants of this marathon and organizers, because I was falling like 10 times during this way. I was falling down, I was crawling, and again I was running. And Anastasia, you are a hero. Not every man can do such kind of efforts. Falling down and running again. We try to help each other in this way. That's why all the participants can pray for Anastasia so that she could continue this marathon. And collapse is normal. Everyone will experience collapse without any exclusions. We all do it, and it's normal. At this moment you have to understand that only Krishna will save you. And you will see that everything will change. Collapse is just our work against our past contradictions with God, with people, with different other living entities, and our own nature. All this dirt, it becomes this kind of collapse. And if you understand this, you will have powers from Krishna. He will give these powers from heart. You don't have to blame anybody in this collapse. No parents, not any other people. It's just fruits of our past activities, and this has to inspire you. So we will all pray for you so that you could make this spiritual path. That's the marathon for whole our life. Everybody has it. Now we just try to test our powers. Everyone who stepped on the path of spiritual life, they are on a way of marathon. And now we're just testing ourselves. Will we be able to get to the end of this marathon? And I'm wishing you from bottom of my heart so that you could continue this running. Thank you so much, Anastasia. Ekaterina, marathon is really surprising. I'm falling asleep without any sleeping pills somewhere at 10 p.m. Yesterday I woke up at 2:30 a.m. Today at 1:30 a.m. Yes, body wants to stay asleep for longer, but I try to not do it. And thank you so much for this idea and for the initiative and for the patience during reading. And a huge universal thank you for the team of Marathon. A few days ago I had a feeling that all of you are my family, all the participants, and the evening kirtan is one small miracle. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Ekaterina, for the inspiring realization. See how everything is changing. You put some efforts, put some patience, and everything becomes better. That means that Krishna in your heart is inspiring you and he is satisfied that you're doing something for him. Thank you so much. Anatoly. There are a lot of books in material world, a lot of books about love. But on this marathon, I got into the world of amazing bliss. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita is an endless source of love that's bright and that doesn't even come close to material. You listen and you don't want to get away from it. You have this endless waterfall of transcendental bliss of Lord Chaitanya. And this ocean of bliss is very deep. And you feel so much for this love that soul starts to tremble from this love for Krishna. Thank you so much, Anatoly, for such kind of sentences of and comparison of material love and spiritual love. Thank you so much. Such kind of comparisons that you do are very important for a lot of people, because some people can't compare, they need some help. As Anatoly was saying, there was a comparison, and some people can say that is kind of a comparison that I lack, and that's a good detail, and every realization is very valuable, because when we open our hearts, that's one of types of developing love in relationships is open your heart and or listen to someone's opened heart. There's 6 of them. First one is open heart and share the sincere things, sacred things. Another one is to feed with prasadam and take prasadam also, it's mutual. Give gifts and take gifts also. That's kind of service of spiritual life. So that something that you lack, some segment that you lack in spiritual world, we could take from someone else, because we can do it by ourselves. That's why socializing with spiritual people is very valuable. So that's the very good comparison by Anatoly. Svetlana, thank you so much for the mood of service. I feel how my mind is swimming in this nectar. That's good, make him drown in it, so that it won't ever go back again. Thank you so much, Svetlana. Service is very important, it's the most sacred secret that will help you to open up Krishna. That's only thanks to service. Alona, after listening and reading Holy Scriptures, I felt something like doom and loss of my sense of life. How to combine knowledge of today's life, today's reality. All my desires are gone now. You have to understand that this reality is not today's. All the times during all the times. I don't know if you read Srimad Bhagavatam or not. Those who read can remember that different great personalities from Srimad Bhagavatam, they describe this despair and doom, all these rich things, all this beauty, all this understanding of sense of things in material life, or austerity, all this vast things in universe. But until person won't connect with God Himself, after that everything, all this desperation is gone. For example from Bhagavatam is Dhruva Maharaj. When he saw Lord Vishnu, he thought, oh my God, all those desires that I had, why do I need them? I thought that will be a diamond, but when I saw Lord, I understood that all my desires are just glass, it's just a glass. So that's quite normal, this kind of desperation and feeling of doom. It exists inside because all this dirt that we've been attached to is gone, and this emptiness that stayed after this dirt has to be filled with spirituality. So if you won't feel this emptiness inside, learning and practicing, this emptiness will appear anyway. That's kind of nature of spiritual energy. It will make all this dirt go away, and you have to feel with spiritual things this emptiness. Because if you won't feel it, dirt will come back also, because we still have some memories of these experiences. Prabhupada was saying, he says that if bad habits will come back, Prabhupada says, everything will be finished. That means that it's 100% that you will go back to all these dirty things. Only maybe in next life you will be able to stand on this path again. That's the power of this sensations, of this satisfaction of feelings. So you have to be happy that this desperation came. What you have to think about, that you have to feel all this positive energy, and life is very, very short. You won't even notice when it will end. But after all these things that you've been attached to, you will feel like this is just nothing. Also, King Prataparudra, he saw Lord himself, and he thought that I'm not a king, I'm a kind of a worm. And Lord Chaitanya asked, do you need something? And he said, I want to serve your servants. Can you imagine the king of such a level? He wants to be a servant of Lord, because at this moment he understands the endlessity of life, of reality. And if you want to look on this internal life, our material life is just thin and small. So you have to feel everything with spirituality. Alona was writing this. Why Lord Chaitanya didn't like that devotee washed his feet and drank it? Because he didn't even felt angry, and actually he wasn't doing anything to him. There was another devotee who slapped him a bit for this. He gave him some kind of slap and said, "Go away. That's not a penalty." Maybe the question lays in some different way, like why did it happen? He did a very good deed. He washed Lord's feet. Firstly, you can do it in the temple. That means you can do it for some devotee, because Lord Chaitanya is playing the role of a devotee. For instance, you can't bow down to someone else except for deities if altar is opened. So you only can bow down to Lord on the altar. But if someone is not following this etiquette, the one that you bow down to, he will also bow down to you. So when altar is opened, you don't bow down. So Lord Chaitanya is playing the role of devotee, so that wasn't really good. So that someone else, except for God, washed his feet. And still Lord was very satisfied, because he still understood that he is God and this is his devotee. But he was showing the example of how to achieve perfection, so these kind of deeds, they are not acceptable. Also like Prataparudra, he loved him so much, he knew that he is devotee, and this devotee is worshipping Jagannatha. The king of Orissa is following the worshipping of Jagannatha, and Lord Chaitanya is Jagannatha himself. Yeah, it's Krishna himself. And at this point he loves him, but he's showing the example that he's not God, he's just a devotee of God. And he says, you don't touch materialists, especially kings. Why in Chaitanya Charitamrita everybody says you to everybody, but we have this tradition to say you like very officially. Sometimes in Chaitanya Charitamrita they talk officially as well, official you. I don't really know English, I know just a bit, but in English there's no official you, there's just you, and that's all, for everybody, universal for every person. And here still, if we will read attentively, sometimes they address to each other as you officially, but this unofficial you means that you have some special relationships. For instance, with Guru, we will say officially you. He's better than our father even. But our Guru gives the birth to our life. And with father we can talk like unofficial you, but with Guru we don't use it. But still we're following this mood of parents, father and son. But here relations are transcendental. They're all on level of well-wishers. And that's why they sometimes they talk on unofficial level, and their level is very high. Mostly it's not really such a main detail, such an important detail. Lord Chaitanya made everybody his devotees, Vaishnavas. Is that the same situation in India? Are there so many devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in India? You won't believe, but a lot of Hindu people, they don't even know who's Lord Chaitanya, and that's the influence of Kali Yuga. Still, not so long time ago, Lord Chaitanya liberated a lot of people, but still, I heard from my guru and from other senior devotees, I heard that this Vasudeva Datta, It's the incarnation of Prahlada Maharaj. Came to Lord Chaitanya and said, I can't watch how people suffer. And he said, give me all their sins. He was in the mood of Jesus Christ. He said, I want to go to hell, but let them be liberated. I can't watch their sufferings. And he did it sincerely. And Lord Chaitanya felt so much for his sincere mood that he said, everybody who are now in these bodies, in their bodies, they will all go to spiritual world. And he liberated the whole world. This time past, it was said about those people who live there. And that's the power of Lord Chaitanya. But after some times, the ones whom Lord Chaitanya was hugging could give the love for Lord Chaitanya with the same method, just hugging him. And after this, people would hug each other. The power of this hug will become less. And if someone would... Now no one knows about him, and if someone heard about Lord Chaitanya, they say he was just a saint person. Especially if people are not practicing bhakti, it's closed for them. But in Bengali, in Nadia, where Lord Chaitanya was born, most of people know. In Vrindavan they know, in Jagannath Puri they know, in Jagannath Puri everybody knows Lord Chaitanya. And when we were on Ratha Yatra, not only Ratha Yatra, even other times when we were in Jagannath Puri, I have deities Panchatattva that I worship. They are right here, in front of them. I just like to talk about it. And even there, those Pandu who worship Lord Jagannath, the same Jagannatha that we read about, whom we see with spiritual vision, and still there's that same temples, that same Jagannath, there's some kind of chain, and they know everything, and they like to play this worship, and that they don't actually allow white devotees to those temples. And sometimes these white devotees have even more level of devotion. They just play this worshipping. And it was like 5 years ago. Once I came to not by myself. We had a Harinama, and we stayed in front of the fans, because there's a prophecy that sometimes Russian devotees will steal Jagannatha from them. And a lot of officers came, a lot of brahmanas came, a lot of managers came, because we came in front. But they still they like Harinama, and I took my deities. They have some kind of platform on my head where all the Panchatattva is standing, and I came there to those brahmanas, and they said, "Stop, you can't go." And I said, "It's not me who wants to go there. They want to go to darshan of Jagannatha." And they say, "No, you can't go." And I'm like, "How can you restrict them? You can not allow me, but it's Lord Chaitanya, it's not Murti, it's himself. He's looking at you. He's looking at you. It's him. You know who's Panchatattva?" And they say, yes, we know. And I say, "And that's Gauranga. That's his disciples. Do you know?" They say, "Yes, and he wants to go to darshan of Jagannatha, so you let him go." And they went to talk. 15 minutes they were talking. Then some kind of elder senior brahmana came, and they explained him the situation. And he came to me, and I said, "Lord Chaitanya wants to go to Jagannatha to have a darshan." He said, "We won't let you but here take them. And they took them and went to the temple. And then Panchatattva took the darshan for 15 minutes, for 20 minutes, and we were chanting the kirtan, and after that they went, all covered with garlands, tulasi, and they're happy, and Panchatattva, there's prasadam, and they became so very happy. And after that time, I always come to them with Panchatattva, and I ask them, and they take and go there and carry the deities to Lord Jagannath. So that happens in Jagannath Puri. And if you see that it's in Jagannath Puri, imagine what's going on in India. In India, megapolis are very, very huge, and even more mega than we have. But they all believe in God. Maybe they don't know all the details, but even the last rascal has some kind of small deity at home. And even in taxi, there's altar, there's some kind of flowers, there's deities. They sit down in the car, they get tilaks, some mantras, and only after that they go to work. So they all believe, but these details they don't know, unfortunately. Yelena is writing. Thank you so much for your unique experience. During reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in some places I noticed that I feel some kind of envy to God that make me feel confused. I understood that just because of this feeling, most likely I came to earth. And this feeling surprised me, actually. What to do with this? Yesterday, our spiritual master told us that sometimes a hard thing comes, and the solution of this is attentive chanting. If you found out some kind of bad feeling inside, you can try to understand the opposite feeling and try to practice, but the main method is chanting, and you will get rid of this disease. Actually, all the fallen souls, they came here to this world because of envy. They wanted to become God themselves. Camille, thank you so much for this marathon. I felt this way only when I first met devotees and started to chant Mahamantra and read books of Srila Prabhupada. I understand how important it is to go to to holy places, Mayapur and Vrindavan, in a mood of service. Now this state of happiness and sincere desire to do something for Krishna, it's back, this feeling, to do something that Krishna likes. I understand how important it is to go to holy places in mood of service. Yes, you have to go if you have a possibility. You go first to Mayapur and then Vrindavan, because Mayapur is very merciful. He won't get all your offenses. That's the abode of Radharani, she created it, and then after that you go to Vrindavan, that's the classics. There we come purified and ready. And so the result, you have a desire, like Camilla is writing, the desire to do something important for Krishna, something that Krishna likes. Thank you so much for this realization. Vladimir is writing. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya, chapter 9, 32nd text, it said about Rama and Krishna that first name Ramachandra is like 1,000 of holy names of Narayan. And they get the text from Shastras. Does it mean that in Mahamantra Rama is the name of Ramachandra, the spouse of Sita, not Balarama, brother of Krishna? Where in Holy Scriptures can we meet Mahamantra in this form? Now we read Srimad Bhagavatam and half of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I don't remember where can I find that mantra. Not in purports or translation, but in Sanskrit or Bengali. There's few questions. At first, Srila Prabhupada said, there's one interesting moment, very important. You don't see everything in Shastras like this. You need to have spiritual vision to see through lines. There's three sources. You know it. If you ask these questions, you know it. It's Guru, Shastra, and Sadhu. Things that you can see in Shastras, you can hear from Guru. Because Guru is Shastra, Bhagavatam. There's two Bhagavatam, the book and the person Bhagavatam, who is devoted to Bhagavatam. And Krishna can talk to us through the mouth of Brahmana. If you want to feed Krishna, you feed Brahmana. And that means that you fed Krishna, because mouth of Brahmana is mouth of Krishna. And here Srila Prabhupada is translating, is giving the translation. And Srila Prabhupada is Bhagavata, he's Mahabhagavata, we can call him this way. And he is bringing us the value of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That's one moment. And the second moment is that Mahamantra was always secret. Not long time ago, Lord Chaitanya disclosed it. And it was very secret mantra. But Lord Chaitanya, before Lord Chaitanya, it sounded like Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. That's how it sounded originally. But when Lord Chaitanya found out and started to chant, a lot of different brahmanas, sannyasi, they came to him. They said, you cannot do this. This is against the laws of religion. You don't give them. This is like Gayatri. Only Guru gives this Gayatri mantra to disciple. And then Lord Chaitanya said, okay, I won't give this, I will give another one. And at this time he started to chant this mantra. And they said, this one you can give. That's not authorized, you can give it to everybody. And Lord Chaitanya knows better what's authorized or what's not. He is Supreme Personality of Godhead and it's working, we see how it's working. And as for Rama, Balarama, Prabhupada said, if during the chanting of Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, you're meditating on Lord Rama, you will go to a border of Lord Ramachandra and become his devotee. If you're meditating during this time about Balarama, you will go to Vrindavan and you will become the devotee of Krishna and Balarama. That's how Prabhupada understood it, gave this understanding. You know what, I will add one more thing, we have some time. As for the question of Vladimir, in Vrindavan there's a place We used to go there a lot of times when we came to Vrindavan. We always go there. It's situated near a temple of Madana Mohan, one of the main temples of Vrindavan, and it's also situated near Samadhi of Sanatana Goswami. There's Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, and there's his Samadhi. And his Samadhi, like 10 or 15 meters, there's under this Samadhi, inside of the ground, there's a Samadhi where some scriptures of Rupa and Sanatana are buried, and they still didn't took them up, because we're not ready. Our consciousness is so small and so thin, and things that we are learning right now, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, all the other books of Prabhupada, it was taken from that like a small drop. But a lot of pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and Krishna are written there. But we didn't took everything. We just took Mahamantra out of that place, and it was given us like something valuable right now, right at this moment, so that we could accept all these things. If you don't chant Mahamantra, you won't understand all these things. It will be closed for him. That's why somewhere Mahamantra has its value. Things that we are reading now is just a bonus for us. Two questions, we will quickly answer them, because we have time. Tell me please, when Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya came to this planet, people could see them with their spiritual vision. Please don't ask any questions, because we don't have time. I will read it again. Tell me please, when Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya came to this earth, people could see them with their spiritual vision, and why without and why having ability to touch, see Lord, these souls didn't leave the body. And some people could see him really. All the Kurukshetra could see him, but not really all of them could have the spiritual vision. Just few people. For instance, when Krishna were given Bhagavad Gita, no one could understand. Not even a lot of people could listen. It said that Hanuman, who was above Krishna inside of flag, he was there, but even Hanuman couldn't understand what's going on. It said that he didn't even hear what Krishna said. Yet, if we don't have qualities, we won't see Krishna. Some people could see Prabhupada as just an old man. Someone could see him as a saint, Hindu man. Someone could come to him, he could say, "Oh, you're a monk, you're a saint person." But his devotees, who could understand, who started to have a progress, they didn't just see a saint man. They saw Shaktavesha Avatara, the one who had this energy of Lord Nityananda. So spiritual vision is at firstly it's knowledge. If you have knowledge and faith, you don't see only Prabhupada. You see him as a very young person. He's forever young. He's not just an old man. And it depends on our qualities. Our vision depends on our qualities. And why having an ability to see, touch and hear Lord, souls didn't leave the body. If your karma won't allow you to leave your body, you won't go away. rarely when it's a very rare case when Lord could just make you leave the body. Once Lord Chaitanya inspired a dog to chant Harinama. He hugged her and she got that love for God. And small Nimai Pandit, mother told him that just lay down to sleep. I will tell you about this dog later. And this dog went to the square. She stand on her 2 feet and she started to chant kirtan, and it was the first Harinam that dog organized. The first Harinama was organized by a dog, and she started to chant, and people didn't understand what's going on. Someone were chanting also, but once at some point this dog fell down, left the body, and a huge Viman came down and took her to spiritual world. And I feel like you're asking this question because I once said that once we see Lord, we will leave the body from happiness. But those who could see Krishna, they had this qualification, this level, or sometimes they would hide their level. They thought, like Shishupala was looking at Krishna as just a cowherd boy. But we don't have consciousness or qualities. That's why if we see Krishna, we just leave the body. Mila is writing, how to stop eating meat. I know that it's bad, but I don't have enough intelligence to leave this habit. Chant Mahamantra. Chant Mahamantra in your mind. If no one is around, you do it loudly, but chant it. And try to offer Krishna banana, apple, something from your heart. Just Krishna, I'm not a devotee, I just eat meat, but you, Lord Chaitanya, is so merciful. I read about you. Can you please share some mercy with me? Help me, please. And in such a mood, you can chant, you can trust Krishna. He will arrange everything. Time will go, and first thing you have to do is stop eating meat of cow. Is the ugra karma. If person is eating it, nothing will open for him. All the other dirt will come. So at first you get rid of this habit to eat meat of cows. But be patient and pray for Krishna, because there's nothing impossible for him. Once it will happen. And also meet some devotees so that you could learn how to cook prasadam. You don't need some high-level prasadam, just simple things, but you offer it to Krishna, and Krishna takes love. If you give him leaf, flower, some water, he will accept this. Read Bhagavad Gita also. The main thing is that you have a desire, and you have to understand that's enough. It's just a question of time if you have a desire. So everything will be happen. If first deities, if there are some first deities of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, what does it mean first ones? Meaning that if they were created while Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda were there on the planet. I can't understand the question. I can say that in India there is a temple. There's Gauranga and Nityananda, Gauranitai, Chaitanya and Nityananda. And these deities stay there since Lord Chaitanya. Since times when Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda came to one Brahmana at home. and they talked to him. And he was their devotees. He was very sincere, pure devotee of them. And when they started to leave, he got to them. He grabbed their feet and said, "Don't go. I want just to worship you, and stay, please." And then Lord Chaitanya said, "Okay, we will leave here our clones." And they manifested these clones like a deities, and they put them on the altar. And they said, here you go, you can worship them." And he looked at them, and he couldn't understand who is who. They're like alive. They look alikes. And he said, if these are them, then let these deities go and you stay. And they said, "Okay." And these deities went off the altar and started to leave. And he said, "No, you also leave, please leave also." And so he couldn't make a decision whom they want to stay, whom he wants to stay, and he confused who is real ones and who are deities. And then Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda went, and those murti are staying there still. And there's still this temple. Maybe you need 40 minutes to go there from Mayapur, if I understood your question right. So that's how it's done. So thank you so much, friends. We don't need any time, we need to go further. Tomorrow we will see each other as well. Tomorrow we will have morning class on Chaitanya Charitamrita given by Chaitanya Chandra Charan Prabhu, our spiritual master. Please come for the morning readings and for this meeting.